All right, let's see if we're live yet. Just doing the fullings. It comes up.
Okay.
It looks like
great.
it's here
It's
now.
here.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you put the post up, let's begin.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the Weekly WAYPN. I'm Cal,
I'm Sunny,
aka
Henry, and Sun Guitar.
And first up, what do we have, Sonny?
Got Caleb self?
Caleb self.
Apparently, yeah.
Caleb himself.
Caleb himself.
Who knows?
Yes. Whip on my World Eater's Demon Prince. Still only half done or so, but it's coming together nicely, I think.
So there is a lot of very bright white on there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking a look at this, and the first thing that I'm thinking is, this is going to need to be dulled down a lot. I think that the white is coming through well. I think that it's very bright, though. Tell us your thoughts, Sonny.
Yeah, and I think it does feel like it's a little bit at the base coat level with a lot of the armor, and I'm not sure if he's considering this done yet or not.
No, he did say that this is a work in progress.
Right, sorry, he did say whip. So, I think once he's done some of the shading and, picked out some of these, like, arrow elements as part of the armor design.
So my worry always is when you see white this bright at the start, that it's going to start this white, and finish this white.
I have a feeling he might go over with the apothecary white or soulblight grey or whatever he's using.
I'm really impressed with the soulblight grey. I reckon it's soulblight grey is essentially Nuln Oil for white.
Yes, and if you don't have soulblight grey, I think perhaps you could pick one up and
I'd say it's worth the investment. Like, I don't often speak extremely highly of Games Workshop paint, but I like it.
Yeah, so I would say we'll just see how it is once he's shaded things.
Yep, and then next up, we've got good old Brian. Shall you read out from Brian?
Brian, hey guys, I started playing around with an airbrush today for the first time. An interesting new tool I'm excited to learn. Anyone have any tips on how the ratio of paint to airbrush thinner, as well as the right PSI? I currently have a 0.2 mm needle in it. It also came with a 0.3 and 0.5 mm needle. I also have Vallejo airbrush thinner. Lots of people have already gotten to it.
Yeah, no, I pretty much saw everything that Alan wrote. And if you just want to read out what Alan wrote, I think Alan was pretty much spot on the entire time.
Yeah, it's a fine mix that takes practice. 20 to 30 psi for primers, 5 to 15 psi for detail work. Mix of paint should be as thin as milk. Use a small cup or blister plastic to mix them pour so no clumps get into the AB. When you test spray, if it spiders, then the pressure is too high. Bright colors, white, yellow, orange, etc. will dry on the tip faster. Try to get into the practice of blowing just air before releasing the trigger.
Yes, yeah. And that is a very difficult thing, but like a lot of people came in, and this is why I really like the community that we have, because essentially we can't be everywhere. At the moment, we're pretty full on with the YouTube.
Yeah, and I just like that people who have had much better experience.
Yes.
Or like more experience using a particular tool just come in and give the advice, because they have, like, Alan's got some of the best painting results ever on our platform. So I think he's the best person to come in with this advice. And that's
great. So next up we have
James
Salisbury.
Yep. I have been asked a couple of times how many miniatures I'm working on. Well, I did the math. 137 painted slash out of 192 in total.
That's a pretty
That's
good.
a pretty good number.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's still a lot left. But
Yeah,
the fact
but
that
look,
you got to 137 is very impressive.
And this is the big thing that I keep going on about, right? I'd say that James and Joseph are my hobby heroes, right? Because with that, he's painting towards his purpose, right? He's not. How can I put it? He's not acting high and mighty. He's no, I shouldn't put it that way. What I should say is what he is doing is this. He's going exactly towards his goal.
Yeah.
And like that's the big thing.
Yeah, he wants to play this game and get to playing this game as quickly as possible. I'm not sure if he's already started playing the games.
Yeah, no, he has, but like I think that's the big thing. If you come in and you do that, right? If you come in and you just have a goal and you meet your goal, that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
You don't need to be the fanciest guy on earth.
You don't have to try to impress anyone with anything. If you want to paint so that you can just get it on the table and start playing the game, that's fine. Just go ahead and do that. If you want something that you are proud of, then go for a character slash showcase level. And I think he's doing well on his goal.
Yeah.
So first picture, what I currently have and been painting. Second picture, what I have coming at some point next year. And miniatures.
Yeah.
276.
But
total.
let's move on from that and go to some more painted models.
Oh yeah, well look at this one.
Yeah, I think this one looks real good, but we'll go into it.
Mixing it up a little and going back to my Marvel Crisis Protocol backlog. Ooh, one MCP after the other. Carnage is done using the airbrush for the red. More experiments with scale 75 drop and paint ring. With the veins and further highlight done with a standard brush, and think it works. It does look really.
Yeah, I think what's really good is the differences in kind. So when I take a look at it, it's the gloss versus the matte, which I think is the real killer thing. I do think, however, that the base, now I do know that they come on these bases. I do think that the base needs some work. Like, let's say a blood splatter or something, because it's not very exciting, you know what I'm saying?
He's definitely done everything for the concrete.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you should stop. You can still add things yourself, you know? Like, you could add, like, say, a stop sign or some newspaper by printing stuff on just on a LaserJet printer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cut out the thing, and it can just be some newspaper blowing
like
along there.
Around.
Yeah,
so yeah.
It's not anything crazy. It's just a little something extra.
Yeah. Well, if he is going for like character level and above,
well, this looks character level to me. The model.
Then I think he should go that extra step
with the base,
with a little storytelling.
Yeah.
So, what is this?
Next up was unfortunately a bit of a failed video on our part. I think that everything that we said is very important, but that doesn't mean that everybody agrees with us. I think that community does make you a better painter. I think here's the place that proves it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we've seen some people who have come in and they have not been the best painters in the world, but slowly over time. And like, I remember when brushstrokes first came into the first thing, right?
The very first WAYPN.
Yeah. He was, well, it was actually the second WAYPN. I think this is like the third incarnation now. That he was really good, but he just got better and better, right? Mm-hmm. And like, it's just those like often when you're already at that very high level, all you have to do is just get a little bit of a push, and like it'll already propel you, because if you're already that good without help,
Yeah.
it'll push you that much more.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much it on that one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think some people do agree that, they could benefit from a community. And what is there not to benefit from a community? It's always more ideas, and a sounding board is always important. Help you improve or help you get out of your own in your head.
Mm-hmm.
But we can move on. Calvinone.
To Calvinone, yes.
The real Cal.
Yes, the real Cal. The one that definitely didn't sprain his wrist and is unable to paint anymore.
You're not taking over for him, are you?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, I see. Whites and rates from Otherworld Miniatures. Ooh, okay. And, unfortunately, I do have to say, although the colors are a little bit brighter with the sort of magentas and the greens, he's kind of fallen back to his usual method of having a lot of not so contrasting colors in terms of the values.
Yes, yeah, the values are pretty much the same. I would 100% agree with that the values are exactly the same. So that's the big thing, I would say. I think that they look nice, but once again, I feel like the basing on the wraiths is it leaves something to be desired.
Yeah, I would agree with
whereas the other guys, they've got more interesting bases. I don't know what this secondary characteristic is. It looks like frost or something like that. But
yeah, I do see a little bit of the white stuff there.
Yeah, I think that it's quite interesting, but we'll see. Like what I'd just really like to see is just a little bit extra on a lot of Cal's stuff. Because the thing is, I think the way that he does the, wash contrast combos are good, but it needs that something extra.
Okay, so now we've got... Ooh, it's Cassidy Rose.
Yes.
We haven't seen him post in a very long time. Haven't touched a brush in over 5 years. My daughter, however, has taken a liking to Tyranids, so I thought I too would pick up a brush again and paint alongside. Here are the works in progress. So which one is which one is his daughter?
His daughters are the Tyranids, and his are the Inquisition. So very within the lines for Cass and for his daughter. Like, I find it very interesting what's going on here, but definitely need the introduction of another color. But I've been told that she wants to do a specific color scheme, and he's pretty much said, look, I'm not just going to buy the things.
Yeah.
Because I need to know that you're actually going to do them up.
Yep, classic.
Yeah, classic dad move. And I think that that's fair, but I really think that once that secondary color gets introduced probably on the carapace, I think that would look good. But I think one of the big things that these guys would benefit from is just that color differentiation. Then it looks like Cassidy's guys come along quite a bit.
Yeah, it's very nice, smooth black that he's got going on.
Yeah,
it's like a purplish black, and he's got something nice glowing look going on for his sword, the power sword.
Well, it's very clean and within the lines, because look how white all these pouches are. So we'll see how those guys go.
Definitely a very nice color scheme. But I think it could use a bit of, volumetric highlighting or whatever it is.
Yeah, but to be fair, with both of these, they are
just starting out.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So next up, we have Marcel.
Marcel has a muzzle.
Yes, he does.
All I done today.
All I done.
A heat effect on my Punisher Gatling turret. Used only shades for that effect.
So I think it needs some blue and purple tone.
Yeah,
Cause
usually there's purple and orange at the very least,
no,
right?
there's no. I don't think that there's an orange. So let me just type in here. Muzzle burn
Mm-hmm.
miniature. Um, muzzle burn effect warhammer. That should get us something.
Whoop,
Yes, I'm a robot.
you're
Unfortunate.
a robot.
Yeah, but. So, when we take a look at it, I do believe one of the biggest things is. Yeah, so some people do. Here we go.
Yeah, see?
This one. Oh, you're looking at the same
Yeah, I'm
one.
looking at the same one. So it looks orange. Like you got a yellow, or I think that might have been a gold because it's a gold barrel.
Yeah,
Or
it's
something.
so probably coppery gold sort of thing, but there's so blue at the very tip into a purple into like a brownish.
Yeah, like a bronze.
No, like a brownish color that will affect the.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so that's just normal.
Yeah, so
It
I
is.
think like he needs that blue bit to it.
Yeah, like at the very least a blue and then a little bit of that purple transition and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
into that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I think that this has gone very well, this right here.
Mhm.
But I think that the issue is that there's not those other colors to interact with it.
Yeah.
So I think that bit looks really good. If that's a base, I think that is really good. But it's hard. It's hard to get that effect. But this one is the one that I was most impressed by.
Oh,
So
yeah. John Gass.
Yeah.
And he says, trying to add non-metallic metal to my skill set. My second attempt to add it, I decided to make metallic black armor. I'm not sure if I'm pulling it off. I'd definitely say
yeah,
pulling
I'd
it off.
say you're definitely pulling off, but I wouldn't say that it's metallic black armor. This looks much more like just metallic armor. I
Well, it
would
looks
say.
black, like if the armor was black.
No, I'd say that it looks more like an iron. Like a very dark steel color. I'd say that it definitely looks like a non-metallic metal, right? But I wouldn't say that it looks like non-metallic metal black because we see very little of like that actual black. So when I think of non-metallic metal black, I don't quite think of something as light as this. So the thing is, we've got to give advice according to what the person doing it is trying for, right? And I think that he's done really well when it comes to non-metallic metal. But it's not non-metallic metal black.
Well, the thing is, when I saw this picture, I immediately read it as black non-metallic metal. I
read it more as iron.
I can see why you say it's like an iron, but I did read it as black because, like, with non-metallic metal, when you have the shading that you do, it often always looks a little brighter than what it is meant to be.
I understand what you're saying.
And I think that's just a little bit about the fallout of this technique is that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're saying, like, regardless of how it works, non-metallic metal black is always going to look a little grey, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but I think it's also dependent on how reflective he wants this armor to be.
Yeah, I just think, like, it looks reflective at the moment, right?
Yeah.
And I think it looks good, but I wouldn't say that it's black. That's just my initial read.
But I think he did a wonderful job.
Oh,
with
it's
the technique.
excellent. I think that the effects come off brilliantly. I think that it reads instantly as a metal.
Well, how would we fix this if we did? Like, would a contrast over it, like a very thin contrast, just to like dull it back?
I'm not sure how I would quote unquote fix this. Like, I guess you could glaze black on the darker areas until it's darkened down the right amount. Because I feel like the the grey of the actual thing feels right, but I think we should move on.
Yeah.
All right, so next up, Demon Prince is finished, blood splatter and all. All right, so let's take a look at him.
Yeah, he hasn't added any shading any further than this.
Yeah, so I think that is definitely the biggest thing. Like, adding highlights, adding shades.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is a good base. I think that the demon flesh has come through well, right? But I do not think that the white has come through quite the way that you'd want it to.
Yeah, because, like, especially with a demon prince, clean white is definitely not a theme.
Well, I can see why they did it that way, because the World Eaters did have that color scheme.
I understand. It's just perhaps something to sort of dirty up the white a bit more. Like, he could use, like, a...
What exactly what we...
Either the soul black gray or with a little bit more of, like, a, you know, a yellowy white. Yellowed white.
I don't know. I think, like, I like the cleanness of the white, but I do think it needs a shade.
Yeah.
But I think we pretty much said everything that we already said.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that there's anything else here that's done badly. I do think the skulls are a bit over the top, but it is a corn demon, so to be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair. All right, next up, we've got
got
some more from Calvinoni.
Calvinoni.
And see, this is what I'm talking about when I say just a little bit extra with the bases, right? So there's a skull there, and there's a bit of leaf litter, right? Nothing freaking crazy. A skull, a bit of leaf litter. It's like...
Tell something about what these guys are meant to do. Like,
or where they are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It tells...
Forest.
Yeah. It tells a little bit of a story, right? Hey, these things are in a forest and they eat people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's nothing crazy, right? And that's what I'm talking about. I also like the cleanness of the colors here. Like, there's those little spots of red, you know, that bright purplish pink, you know, and then the highlights into...
Yeah, like this is the kind of thing that I like when Cal does. Like, there's a proper amount of contrast between each of the elements, and I can see exactly what each of these elements are. Like, you can see the nice light pink with the just a hot pink, and then you've got that nice tan. Like, everything is readable.
Everything is readable, and that's exactly what tabletop should be.
Yeah, as compared to the previous one, it didn't feel as readable. You couldn't really see.
I think that the blending was good with the previous one, but
it needs a little.
Yeah.
But
all right. Next up, we have...
Oh, it's Joe R. Sutton.
Well, it sounds like you've got the voice for it, so I'm gonna... Yes.
No.
Yes. You must read while I go through the pictures. So
you just want to watch the pictures while I do the hard work.
Sure. Okay.
Good day, all. After a good day off, I've managed to finish these two. A scout sentinel. I've painted a plasma cannon and got to paint a last cannon. And a demolisher, lemon rust. I've painted a last cannon and 2 multi-melters and got to paint 3 heads. In doing this, I've now got my first 1,000 points. Time to learn to play Warhammer 40k, I guess. Also a video of my full paint parts, the final pictures in some of what's left to do, crying.
Well, let's take a look. We've been going on this Joe R. Sutton adventure, and he's incorporated the decals a lot more since last time. So we can see, like, here, we've got some of the decals more incorporated, but some are not yet incorporated, like this big 4 up here.
Ah, right, okay.
Yep. And I think it's looking good.
I really like this picture with it's very high contrast now.
Yeah, but let's take a look at the video.
Ooh, would you look at that?
It's a very impressive force.
Should sell it.
Why would you say such a thing?
So that way you can get.
You are a terrible person.
Well,
That is
it's so
that.
good. It's so good though.
Yes, that's why he shouldn't sell it. You are a bad person.
A bad person.
No, you are. Like, that discourages people.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think that it looks great, mate. Like, I think this is like a collector's piece.
Yeah.
Like, when I look at this, I think, well, I would love to have that army. I would love to have that army. But let us move on. Oh no, it's me.
It's
All right. I will read out with dread my own post.
okay.
And then I will.
Well, that demoralizes people.
You demoralize me.
No.
Yes.
You gotta read it with passion. More passion.
All right. If people wish the passion, I will do so. It's Whip Wednesday. Hashtag Whip Wednesday. So, while Sunny, in brackets Sangeetha, has done the glamour shots, I thought I would show you guys the chaotic reality. Because that's what we're about. Even though I can paint nice models, the back end isn't as pretty as the front end. That's me, the back end. Alright, another guy done, and all the gold is done on the Black Legion half. So now, can you guess which former Legion he comes from? What are you painting now? Make a post about it. Alright. Now that I've done that, I'm giving you this seat so you can go through the pictures and comment to the people. Yep, that's what it's done.
You're going elsewhere.
Yeah,
there's no point in me talking about it if you're not here. I'm just gonna go to the next post. Alright, moving on to James. Well, okay, fine. We'll talk a bit about it. I think, I really like what he's done with these Legion, Black Legionaries. The concept is that they are changing into whatever Traitor Legion that they originally came from. And I think that's nice. And of course, if we take a look at some of the different angles, we can tell that it's probably Iron Warriors because of the hazard strike. I think elements like that have come through very nicely. You can see all the different elements.
Talking about it?
No, I already moved on to James.
Well, you do realise that you haven't moved on to a single picture on my post.
I'm looking at it on my computer.
That doesn't change anything for them, you dummy.
Well, I'll change it.
You are a terrible person.
Ooh, look, a video.
Yes, a video. I can't believe that you did not do what I said.
Okay.
I am genuinely upset. So upset I'm leaving.
I guess we'll try this again. This is not the best video. We've got this video in this one, but I'm not sure how to open it up so that it shows. But let's see. Okay. So let us go back to there you see the hazard stripes are there. I think all of the elements are picked out very nicely. He's used a color shift on this one, but when you see it in real life, it's like a purple shifting to a green, but the purple is just such a big part of it that it doesn't quite contrast with the black, and it just doesn't have that obvious difference between the two. But I think the metallic, he's put a good amount of effort into with the true metallic metal, and I think that's come up very nicely. All the different parts have been picked out. I quite like the... Okay, let's try to find the front-facing picture. Do I click it? This is the front picture?
It's amateur hour.
It is amateur hour.
You are the worst. So what is it that you are trying to say or do?
I think I was trying to get to the front picture, which I think I am on the front picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just saying that you've picked out all the metal parts very well. The true metallic metal comes through very nicely. All the different elements are readable. And you can tell that it's a Iron Warrior that's former Trader Legion. But as per usual, the color shift to the black is not stark enough to...
Yeah, I feel like when I added the midnight blue, it was a bit too intense, I think.
I don't think it's any fault of the midnight blue. I just think it's the color shift. If it was a different color shift.
There was another way I could do the color shift, which I think maybe next time I will try, which is I'll do the chrome.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it'll have that high reflective surface underneath, right? Very bright though. And then, like those ones that we've got up there, then put the color shift on top of that.
You could give it a try. Maybe that'll help it.
I can't do that now with these
And
ones.
of course, yeah,
but yeah.
Maybe for future project.
All right. Well, let us move on with my poorly disguised needs to leave.
I am sorry I did not change the picture.
You don't change anything. You don't do nothing.
Apparently I don't do it.
Yeah, all right.
I'm just a commentary chick.
Yeah, all right. Well, you know, like at the shop, you're just the person who takes the photos. All right. Well, you want to read out for James?
James, he says, Zombie Captain Marvel, 138 out of 192. She has blonde hair in comics, but I don't know how it looks with the zombie face. The mixed blood river added more horror than just the standard model had.
So,
Blood river.
I think with this face, what it needs is just a little bit of purple. Not a lot, so like a really thin down shade of purple to contrast against all of the blonde hair.
Yeah, because it does look very similar to
in value, and he's already said that. And I do think that the Blood River is good. I think that it contrasts because the rocks are warm, right? But this is warmer, obviously, and like it contrasts well against all the blue.
Yeah, I think it helps to bring attention to the.
Yes.
In that sense.
Yeah, because like you take a look at it over here, right? And what I do think is good, right? If we look at it from this way, you could mistake her for her. You could mistake her for her heroic version.
Yeah.
If you looked at this side. But the minute that you're over this side, and this is good, the way that it's both sculpted and the way that it's painted, the minute that you're over this side...
Like, you see that it's not who you think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't look very heroic at all. And, like, that little river is disguised and such.
Yeah.
Which I think is very good.
I do think he did a wonderful job with rocks. They look very realistic.
Yeah, I think so too. Alright, but I think we should move on. So next up... Oh, it's you. We can ignore.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Alright, do you want me to ignore?
No.
I guess it's time for you to read out then.
I'll leave the room now.
You'll leave the room now?
And you can talk to the people about it, like what you...
Okay. Do you want to do that?
No, I want to hear it.
Okay.
It's my turn to regale in the past. Throwback Thursday. This was my first
more
mini.
energy. More energy.
This was my first mini. It does have a bit of sentimental value because it was my first mini that I painted during my visit to see Henry Graham for the first time in real life after 2 years of long distance say cry. Oh, was I crying? No, I wasn't crying. Okay, it was just the face. This was a Raging Heroes model. I remember for this piece, I approached contrast paint like it was base paint because I wanted to do the Zenithal Prime justice, and I wasn't really getting certain results. I wanted certain results I wanted, which made the move which made me move on to technical paints to layer
Well,
over
they weren't even technical paints though. You just
I'm pretty sure I used like one of those warp gem ones.
no, you used an SMS.
No, I'm very sure I used the warp gem.
No, because I can see the gold and the glitter and stuff. You used one of the SMS colors.
No. I didn't do that. I watered down the white.
Look here, I can see it. You put like gold into this.
I remember what I painted. And it was I thinned down the paint so much that it was just the mica flakes. And then I just drew that over top and like a glazed the shit
What I do remember is when you did this, you actually did really well with a lot of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, do you want to put some more in? And you know what you said?
Yeah, I said no.
Yeah, you just went, yeah, it's good enough.
Yeah, because I was so sick and tired of it, actually. Because I was trying really hard with it.
Mm.
And I think, okay, another thing I would like to point out, this is a Raging Heroes model.
Yeah.
And Raging Heroes has a lot of beautiful detail, but I don't think I should have started out with this model for my first time. I think something like the Stargrave models the actual Stargrave and Retrowave models.
I'm not as sure on that for you.
Oh, yeah?
So the reason is because this model excited you a lot.
Yeah, it did.
And that's why. Like, I think if people are excited by a model, I think that's really important.
And yeah, so I was excited, and I think once I started painting it and it wasn't coming to what I wanted it to look like, I just sort of gave up. And I do remember you did say, like, you can work on it some more, and I'm like, I probably don't know what else I would do with it, and I just left it alone after that. But yes, let us move on.
Indeed.
To this very nice model.
Yeah, I do believe this is a new member.
Corbin Govers.
Yes.
I hope I said it right. I'm happy with most of how he's coming. The armor, however, feels like it's missing something and doesn't quite fit with the rest of the model, despite all using the same mother color. I think the armor came out quite nice.
I'm going to have a closer look at it and see, because when I look at it, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't quite see what he's talking about.
The white's got a tinge of green to it.
Yes.
Right, which contrasts well against these more maroon pants and tabard here. Right? I think that the metals look good. They've got sheen in the right places. So I'm going to go back to his comment. Happy with how he's coming. The arm feels like it's missing something despite using the same mother colour.
Not sure what else we would add to this, though.
I think maybe he wants to bring up the
true metallic metal parts?
Yeah. That's my only thought. So he's done very well with the edge highlighting. All of the edge highlighting looks great. Like, especially take a look right here along the belt. There's some great highlighting. Everything looks fantastic. I think the only thing I would think is something more like how John Grass did with his thing, except just do the exact same thing but with metals, and just do that sheen along there. That's the only thing I can think. When I look at this, there's nothing wrong with it.
I think if we had more different angles of this model, we'd be able to get what you're talking about.
No, because I think when he first posted it, it had different angles, but it didn't come through after that.
Yeah, so with this one angle, it's hard to see exactly what is that you're not happy with.
Yeah, because
because it looks great.
Yeah, like there's nothing technically wrong with it. All of it works coherently. Alright, so next up, we've got somebody else contributing to Throwback
very
Thursday.
Exciting model, I must
Alright, you ready to read?
Is this just safe? Apparently it's Throwback Thursday, so I may as well show you the first model I ever finished painting. There is attempts at shading and highlights on there, but I can't see it. Look at that awful photography. I must have had that flash on. I think this is the
definitely had the flash on.
I think this is the only time I have ever gotten static grass to actually stand up. That base, oh god, that base. So much empty space, and I did nothing with it. Where was Henry with his verisimilitude and 3 elements back then, 2012? I would still wake up from nightmares about this base. If I ever take it to the table again, I'll scrape it off and give it proper basing. This is Signa's Storm Strider from Privateer Press, and
hold up, Signa,
yes.
Oh yeah, no.
CYG.
Sorry, I was like
Sigma.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is that something else? Like,
yeah, no. Praise Sigma.
Praise Lord Sigma.
Yes.
Anyhow, Privateer Press, and it's on a 120mm base.
So it's a very big base. But
tell.
look at all that grass. You know what I almost
feel? Look at
feel?
all that grass.
I almost feel like, you know what would be really good for this? Like, if you could take the model off this and draw some, like, pitch lines.
My god.
You know, and, like, so this thing is just cruising across, like, some soccer field or something like that.
That'd be hilarious.
You know? And just, like, leave the grass as is. If you were going to edit it at all, but I think that it looks great right now. Alright, I think we should move on, and I think we're almost at the end.
Gems that he put in there?
No, they're like some sort of glowing power nonsense. Don't worry about it. We're not going to.
I thought it looked really cool, like a gem. Anyway, he's got some more action.
Yeah.
I've finally finished the 27 models I've been working on since New Year. I'm going to spread them out over a few posts so no one post takes over the review video. I'm also including the reference pictures I had to work with. I mostly tried to match them as I wasn't always. And I want their gear to match items in the possible. These are all models from Kingdom Death. Yep. Looking real nice. And I can really see the difference.
I was waiting for the rest of the post because it's a classic Joseph thing to be like
Seymour.
Yeah. It's like, all right, now let's hear everything else. But here's what we'll do. So here, Sunny, is the original artwork.
Okay.
And here is what he has done with it. Tell me what you think.
So he gave her some pants.
He did appear to give her some pants.
I'll
go back to the original artwork.
Oh, and he's also sort of made it so that she's wearing basically a suit, a very skin tight suit, right? So in this one, she's just in a bra and pants, pretty much.
Yeah.
And call it a bra. But
it's something.
And so he's basically painted it in a similar fashion, but he's just given her pants.
Yeah.
And I think that looks really interesting. She looks very devilish in this one, doesn't she?
Yeah. All right, so let's go on to the next one and tell me how much you think he has matched. So here, I'm going to open this up in a separate thing so that we can go back to it. So here is the artwork. And let's take a look at the lady herself.
Yep. Yeah, I would say he matched up really nicely. But it has a bit more character with his model, which I think is something that he manages to do. Like, whatever it is that he has this little bit of interpretation of his own style bring into it, his own decision, artistic choices. And it just feels like it's got more characters compared to the usual art.
Mm-hmm.
And I quite like that. Because the red is a lot brighter in this version, huh?
In some areas, yes.
Like her top and the ribbons ribbon is like the nice bright, but in the picture it seems only the ribbon was that bright.
Yeah, only this bit right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, on to the next one. So this is the Twilight Knight. This is an important character in the game.
Okay.
So here we go.
Let's see. More underwear fighters.
Yes, more underwear fighters. I mean, that's how all women fight, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't recommend fighting
with that much exposure, but
well, I just don't recommend fighting, ladies. It's never a good look.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, here she is.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Very nice. Oh, the hair. I think he done something different with the hair.
Has he?
Let's feel take like a look. He might have done something.
Well, let's take a look back with her. So
yeah,
her
she's
hair's
got
more white.
Yeah, because like
that's
the
more
first
a
thing.
lilac.
Yeah, and that's the first thing that sort of popped out at me, the hair.
The other bit is she seems to have pants.
She does seem to have pants. Very nice and skin that he's given her. And you can see the carved abs.
The carved abs, yes.
Abs. And I think he's given her a different colored top as well.
With the gold?
Yeah, it's a gold top, but hers is not gold, right?
Yeah, it's more like a dark teal.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah.
It just looks black to me. Like whatever teal color is coming from that blue light that's.
Well, this part looks blue to me, right here.
Yeah, and I think that's just a reflection of the light.
Perhaps it is. But let's move on to the next one and tell him how you think he's done.
Just waiting for
so there she is.
Video to. Oh yeah. One of the rare few covered models. I really like that. Yeah, I think this one looks very close to the actual art that he's done.
The face looks a bit unfortunate though. We don't have much of a close up on the face.
Oh, I can see what you're saying.
I'll try and get a bit closer. Yeah, it looks a bit messed up there.
Unfortunate. Because the model is very well done.
Yeah, everything else I think is very well done. And I take a look at this, and it is one of the more interesting, designed ones where it's not just a woman in bikini.
Yeah, like, not the most pin-up one. And it looks very nice.
Yes, but I think we're moving more towards some of the more normal, quote-unquote, ladies, like...
clothed.
Yes, I guess that's the way. Like, I actually really like this design. I think this looks really cool. The way that she's... Yeah, the hair's cool, but it's not just that. It's the pose.
Yeah.
It's everything, and it's got just such a great energy with that eye look. Because the eye just draws you in with how it's a different color.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at how he's done. I'm not sure how I feel about the purple hair compared to the blonde.
Right. Okay.
Because I think that the blonde hair was one of the key things.
Yeah.
And I wish that I was able to see shot for. So this is her in the picture, kind of. So she's slightly rotated, just slightly differently. What do you think?
I would agree. Yeah, I think something about that blonde hair contrasts so well with that muted look of her outfit.
Yeah, I think having those eyes really would have helped her. Having that very sort of vibrant red eye.
Yeah.
And I think that the purple hair, it's a choice, but I think personally I like the blonde better. Alright, so now we've got, I think this is our final lady. Let's take a look. Alright, we'll zoom in a bit on her. And she's another one of our bikini lasses.
Bikini lass.
But let's take a look.
She's blonde, she's wearing gold bikini at best.
So it looks like Joseph's given her pants.
Yep.
I think is not bad. I really like the way that he's done the eyes on this one
Mm.
because they look very anime-esque,
Yes.
and that's very on point. I think showing the references, this one is much more on point, even though like the hair is blonde here. I still think like blonde hair would have been better.
Yeah, I think because this game there is a aspect of naturalism with it.
Mm.
And once you add something a bit more bold with like something like the hair color choice, sometimes it throws the feel a bit off.
Yeah.
Not all the characters, even in the art, had natural hair coloring, but I can see like when you compare it side by side, it has a completely different feel when you have different hair color.
Well, I think that Joseph's done very well with
Yes.
everything. Like, I think that number one, Joseph is always great with basing. So now that everything's fully done up and based, taking a look at them, there's not a single one that I look at and I'm like, oh, you really could have actually put in an effort, Joseph. Like, I think I like all of the basing with all of them because the elements of the basing are quite simple. They're not over the top. And this is pretty much what I'm talking about with Cal. Just you take a look, just some gravel there, right? To give some interest to the base. These elements, the tufts and the rock, are out of the path of the model, so your focus, that line right there, is still on the model, right? And I think that's really good. But I think we've talked about a lot of these models before, their ups, their downs, that sort of thing. I think that it's good in some ways that he's added pants to some of them, but I think others he's been fighting the model more. Like, for example, this one right here. I think if he wanted to fight the design of this model more, you don't have the breasts that color, because it doesn't matter if this is the reference card, right?
Okay.
Because like if you take a look at that, right, there's very little left to the imagination here, right?
Yep.
And the whole thing is, right, if this was that same sort of brownish black material, it would be a different story. And let's say that with this, he did like, I don't know, say that blue, it would change something. But I think if like it was all green, I think that would change things. Or just this area be green and then this area be the skin. I
think. Okay.
Yeah, because I think that would look a lot better. But that's more about design, I would say.
Yeah. But I think skill wise, he's knocked it out.
Oh, no, I don't think that anything that he's done here is bad, but just I think he's like, all right, I'm going to try and honor the art, but, I'm going to try not to go over the top with these pinups, right? And, like, the thing is, right, either you try not to go over the top with the pinups or you honor the art. I think you can't do both.
It's just because of the way that they're designed
to
look extremely sexy, and it's just like you can't do much in that.
Yeah. So that's why I was talking about that whole section from the art. This here, if this was all black, it'd have a totally different feel, because like you can basically see the areolas here, can't you?
Oh yeah, now that I'm taking a closer look, like she just painted white on her boobs or something.
I think it's meant to be like a semi-transparent material or something like that. But like the whole point is, right, I think that just accentuates it, and it's kind of counterintuitive to what he was trying, which was he's like, yeah, I'm going to try and make them look nice.
He was trying to make them look a bit more decent as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, and so we are trying to critique things based off people's goals.
Yeah.
Right? Not off our goals. Because, like, if I was going to paint this model up, I'd try for that effect. Right? Not because I'm like, oh, it's a hot girl. It's because doing semi-transparent material is so difficult,
yeah.
you know? And it's just like, I would like to be able to do that with other models, right? And I think that would look schmicko amazing. But, you know,
yeah, well, I think he pretty much
hit all of his goals, but I would say that was the one where he sort of fell down.
Yeah, like some design choices we think could have been.
Yeah, no, because we're saying, you know, did you meet your goals? This girl, right? Even though she is less dressed than the other one, she feels more dressed than that previous girl, right?
I suppose, yeah.
Because, like, the big axe blocks most of her chest, right? And the focus, right? We see these nice pants, right? The focus is on the weapon because it sort of blocks where the breasts are, right? And on the face. So nice pants, big weapon, face, right?
Okay, yeah, I can see what you're saying there.
Right, now let's go to the next one. Yeah. Right, all of this, that's great.
Yep.
You know, he didn't even do the revealed thighs thing.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I think she looks great, you know. That has that right there usually in the art. And I think that would even be fine to meet his requirements. But this one, you know, I'm just going to skip right over this one because that one pretty much has everything anyway. Oh, no, hold up. There's a lot of thigh showing and he's...
Yeah, that one's got thigh, but...
Yeah. And see, like, with this one, where he's just done up the pants around here. So this makes it much more seem like she's trying to show herself off. She's like, look at my abs, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's much more of a deliberate choice, whereas that right there, yeah. And boxers, like, of either gender are usually a lot more nude. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's it for us. I'll do a quick load, see if anybody's put anything in just before the end of it, which I don't think they have. But, Sonny, would you like to give your thoughts for the end of the podcast?
I think everyone's done a wonderful job this week. And we would have had a lovely chat if we could have in the chats. Seems no one's joined us for some odd reason.
Yes.
But yeah. Other than that, I think everyone's sort of met their goals and they're doing well with their hobby. And I hope you guys are enjoying being here on WAYPN, especially the newer members.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, and as always, keep those brushes wet.